It's the Behind the Shade show.
What do you think of people who hope that people will stop hurting them even though they know that it's their responsibility to take care of themselves?
I mean, based on my own perspective and my own experience with being a people pleaser, as you were, I was overly pleasing everybody. I was overly saying yes. I was scared of saying no because, and this, I realized years after, and it was because of trying to fill a void that was empty. And I was trying to be with someone, or I was seeking for attention. I was seeking for acceptance. That's a big one. I was seeking for acceptance, and that's why I would never say no to anybody. And it will be yes and yes and yes. And when I started little by little to say no, I was uncomfortable. I felt ashamed. And this is the thing, when we say yes too much, it's because of low self esteem issues. I have a tremendous amount of low self esteem, low self worth. And I was saying to myself, if I say no to this person, they will stop liking me. And I want them to like me. And that was the mentality. I want people to like me. I cannot make people like me. Okay, that's their decision. And when once I started little by little, here we go, because this took me a very long time to understand that when we set boundaries, people will respect them. When we set boundaries, the ones that stay and respect your boundaries, those are the ones that are keepers. But when we set boundaries and people get uncomfortable, they get edgy, they get angry at you because you finally are setting a boundary, that is a red flag. That is a call for run, don't walk. And when it comes to people pleasing, I have a mentor that he says, you got to raise that rent on the people that come to your life. And if you raise that rent, the people that appreciate and value the essence of who you are will stay no matter what. But those that are coming in for a free ride or a free pass of any sort, those will get angry, those will turn their backs on you, and those are the ones that will stop talking crap about you because they are not getting what they used to anymore. And I in my life, oh my God, family members, friends, a whole bunch of people that I will be this overly people pleaser. They got really uncomfortable when I started saying no. And it's like, well, you know what? Change is a constant and change is here to stay. Until this day, I even thank these people that decided to walk because I set boundaries, because that was the biggest proof that okay, my self-worth is improving. My self-esteem is going up. All this work that I'm doing for myself is really having good results. And nowadays, those that stayed, they know who they are. Of course, it's a small group of people. And the new people that are coming in, the boundaries are set. I don't have to be repeating the same thing that I repeated for many years of my life. And definitely setting boundaries for ourselves is self-love. That is for sure.
When you realized that you wanted to get acceptance from people, but then you turned it around and focus on you, how powerful was that realization to you at that point in your life?
You know, in my case, like I have always been accepting of, I have progress in life later in life. And I explain. When I took, I've been a professional dancer for many, many years, for 40 years. But I started my first class, my first dance class, I started it at 15. I was like 10 years late already for being a dancer. Well, I became a professional dancer and instructor till this day. I'm 60 right now. And then after that, of course, I had children later in life. It's been like everything has been later in life, but it's been for a reason. And that reason is a very powerful one. And I can tell you this, when I finally realized that these changes needed to happen, I was 51 years old. I finished writing my co-authorship for a book. And I believe that that whole year of me writing down my life, opening up like never before, because I come from a lot of childhood trauma. I come from silence. I come from a lot of silence. And when I made that conscious, powerful decision of opening up, breaking my silence, getting support, getting counseling, that's when a whole new door opened for me. And it didn't open for me. I decided to open that door that was always there waiting for me to just turn and open up and come in. The one thing that I felt more empowered more than anything, especially writing this co-authorship, was exactly that: setting the boundary, putting a stop to my silence, and opening up in the biggest, most powerful way in my life, which was through a co-authorship. I'm not a reader. I'm not an author. I mean, it's like, well, I did terribly. I did terrible in school. I made PhD. I did terrible in school, and I became an author. What are the odds of that? I have no idea. But you know what? I said, this process and this journey is choosing me for a reason. This is happening for a reason that became bigger than me. And that's another one that it was like so empowering. It's like, this is bigger than me. This is not about me breaking my silence anymore and starting breaking the chains of just generational traumas and childhood trauma. This goes further than me. This goes to the masses. This goes to the other person that has suffered in silence, just like I did all of those decades ago. And when the realization came, it's like, okay, this is getting bigger and bigger than me. It's because of something significant and something important that needs to be done. And that's why I'm here tonight with you on a Tuesday evening, having a conversation with this amazing human and letting the world know and letting everybody know that, you want the change, you got to go do the change, because nobody's going to do it for you. So wake up. Yep.
I spoke to a few women who are around your age, they're in their 60s, and they struggled with boundaries because they felt that it was going to prevent them from finding the type of peace, happiness, and in many cases, love that they wanted. So when you decided to set your boundaries, what are some of the steps that you had to take to enforce those boundaries to make sure that they held true to what you wanted to be?
Well, that is a real good one. I mean, the process of um, self-respect was a long one. And when it came to finding a partner, that was a very tricky one, because I grew up around violence. I grew up around, I grew up as a Latina. I grew up they tried to indoctrinate me, but it really didn't work out that well for anybody. I grew up that you have to be obedient. You have to devote yourself to your domestic position. You have to put everybody's priorities before your own. I tried to do all of that. It didn't work out. It really, really didn't work out. Why? Because the first thing that happened when it came to putting everybody's priorities before my own, I created grief with others, because the sacrifice that I was doing to please other people, it wasn't necessary. There was no reciprocity there. I didn't get the same treatment back, that is for sure. And when it came to partners, and when it came to boyfriend, it came to my ex-partner, the father of my kids, I was looking forward to something from someone that could never comply. I was in my mind making this beautiful movie of, oh my God, we're going to be a happy family with our two kids, and we're going to go into the sunset, and everything is beautiful. And no, I made that in my mind on my own because he wasn't there with the same mindset. That is for sure. So that's when disappointment comes. That's when, unfortunately, the love fades, because love is like a plant. Love is like a tree. If you don't water it, if you don't give it attention, if you don't give it love, it will fade, it will dry, and it will die. And that's exactly what happened with the father of my kids. Unfortunately, he was a nice guy, but we were never meant to really be together. And we received the blessing of being the parents of two amazing humans that I call my kids. But when it came to love and finding that love, definitely it was never meant to be with him. That's for sure. When I finally changed, when I finally changed the channel, that I was looking for love from somebody that couldn't give the same thing back. When I did a list of 10 things that I want on this special person, and I wish for it with all of my heart and my soul and the bottom of my being, then change really happened. But the first person that had to make that change was me. The first person if I wanted something better, I really had to mean it from the bottom of my heart. It's like, okay, if I want this change, I gotta kind of be the change myself. And when that slow process of change came, I was still with the father of my kids. We were in a loveless relationship, and I quietly, because I was really good of staying quiet and being silent, and nobody will know my suffering but myself. So there's a lot of people out there like myself that live lives of quiet desperation, pretending that everything is good and that I got all of my stuff together, when no, I was falling apart in the inside. But I am really good at being an actress and acting like everything was great. So when I started to let go of that and welcoming what I am really worthy of, 3 months later, I met my now husband. When I finally, yes, and we've been 12 years married, and we have a beautiful, healthy, no, well, that normal, nothing is normal in life. I don't believe in normal, but we have a healthy relationship with boundaries, with love, with respect, and most of all, communication. We laugh together. We don't take things way, way too seriously, because everything is serious enough around us. So we love each other's company, and more than anything, communication. Being friends is talk about this. Please, let's open up, because if we start being silent on each other, it will go down to shreds like it did before. I've been there before, and the ending was not good. So that's definitely the different thing that I did now. And I'm very happy about it. 12 years married, damn, that says something. That's for sure.